I'm Dr. Felecia Nace, and my co-author is Dr. John Liebert. Together, we co-authored a book titled The Atlanta Child Murders: Messages Today About Education, Politics, and Race Relations. I co-authored the book with psychiatrist Dr. John Liebert. He actually worked as a forensic psychiatrist on the Ted Bundy case first, and then he came on to the Atlanta child murders case immediately following his work on the Ted Bundy case. And so in this book, he unpacks details about the child murders from a first-hand account. He was there. He was there in Atlanta, actually working the case as these horrible murders unfolded. John and I were an unlikely pair to collaborate on this project. So my background is in education, everything from teaching in public schools to working at the State Department of Education in New Jersey for over a decade. I also served as a board trustee for a small college in New Jersey. So if someone had told me years ago that I would ever work with a forensic psychiatrist, I would have said, no way, that's not going to happen. But here I am. This book combines the story of the Atlanta child murders that took place in the late 1970s through the early 1980s. And in this book, we discuss the deep-seated poverty that most of the young victims endured. This book also compares that poverty from 40 years ago to the poverty we see in America today, which is still prevalent, and in large part is driven by poor educational systems. And that has always been the case. The book also gives examples of how low-quality education isn't just for poor kids anymore. In America, we see the impact for all Americans. And so many of our well-educated individuals in America today, in our top universities and colleges, are really ill-educated, but they are completely unaware. Why is America in distress? Because the essential skills that children need to become successful in life get pushed aside for political agendas, and that's when greed takes over. And that's where we are with our school districts today. Politics and greed have taken over. It's just that simple. But of course, the political agendas are disguised in a pretty box with beautiful wrapping and a shiny bow. Today, it's wrapped in words like critical race theory and social justice lessons, equity, diversity. The list goes on. What children really need, and those who just have common sense understand this, what kids really need is skill building. That's the primary job of teachers and school principals. All other initiatives are distractors. So who's driving these erratic changes in our school districts? That's the million-dollar question, and that's what John and I attempt to answer in this book. I think we come up with some theories that most teachers, school principals, parents are simply not thinking about. Why? Because if you look at the media today, there's so many distractors that it keeps us from focusing on the real issues in education. And where are politicians in all this? We know where the politicians are. Whoever's padding the pockets of politicians, American kids get sold to the highest bidder. And I think it's time for us all to come together and say, our kids are not for sale.